Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In today's lecture, we are going to start with a new topic, and that topic is sensory receptors. In today's lecture, we are going to learn what are the receptors and how do we classify the receptors. So, first, we are going to see what are the sensory receptors. The sensory receptors are specialized cells, or they are a part of the neuron which respond to various stimuli. So cells or the part of the neuron that respond to different kinds of stimuli are known as sensory receptors. Now stimuli are the changes in the internal or the external environment of the body. It's a plural word. Singular word is the stimulus, and it is a change in the internal environment of the body, that is changes arising within the body, or a change in the external environment of the body. Sensory receptors basically act as transducers. Transducers are the cells which convert different forms of energy into electrical signals that are the action potentials. So basic function of the receptors is to detect a change and to convert that stimulus into the electrical potential or into the action potential. Now the action potentials which are produced as a result of stimulation of receptors, these are conducted to the central nervous system. In the central nervous system, this information is analyzed, and in response to that information, reflex and behavioral actions are brought about. That is, in response to different changes either within the internal or the external environment of the body, the different reactions are produced, and these reactions can be reflex reactions, or these can be the changes in the behavioral actions of the body. Now we are going to learn the classification of the receptors. There are different ways to classify the receptors. One of the classification divides the receptors into exteroceptors, interoceptors, teleceptors, and proprioceptors. Now first we are going to learn what are interoceptors. Now interoceptors is basically made up of two words, intero and receptors. Now intero mean the receptors present within the body, or we can say the receptors that detect the changes within the body, changes occurring within the body. So interoceptors are the receptors which detect the stimuli arising from within the body. The interoreceptors include the chemoreceptors, like we have studied in the respiratory physiology, that we have chemical receptors or the chemoreceptors present in the aortic and the carotid body, which are the peripheral chemoreceptors, and we also have the central chemoreceptors present in the brain stem, in the medulla oblongata. So and these receptors detect the changes in the partial pressure of oxygen, they detect the change in the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion concentrations, and all these stimuli are arising within the body. They are the changes within the internal environment of the body. So one of the example of the interoceptors is the chemoreceptors. Then baroreceptors are also the interoceptors, and you have studied baroreceptors in association with the blood pressure control in the circulatory physiology. Then we have the osmotic receptors. The osmotic receptors detect the changes in the osmolarity of the extracellular fluid, and these are again the interoceptors. Then we have thermoceptors, which thermoreceptors that detect the changes in the temperature within the body. Then irritant receptors are there, present in the epithelial lining of the viscera, like we have studied that irritant receptors are present in the epithelial lining of the airways, that is in the trachea, bronchi and bronchioles. And similarly, the irritant receptors are also present in the epithelial lining of the gastrointestinal tract, and they detect the irritant stimuli within the body. And then we have the proprioceptors. Proprioceptors are the receptors which detect the changes in the position of the body. So basically these receptors, they detect the change in the joint position. So and these receptors are present in the deep tissues, in the muscles, and in the capsules around the joints. So these are different examples of the interoceptors. Now coming to the exteroceptors. Now, as its name is indicating, that exteroceptors are those receptors which detect the stimuli arising from outside the body. Or in simple words, we can say that exteroreceptors or external receptors, they detect the changes in the external environment of the body. And the exteroceptors can be located in the specialized sense organs, like we have the photoreceptors present in the eye for the detection of the light stimulus. Then we have the olfactory receptors present in the nose, which detect the smell sensation. Then we have the phonoreceptors or the sound receptors for hearing, and we have the taste receptors for the taste. And taste receptors are present in the oral cavity on the surface of the tongue. So the stimuli which are present in the external environment, or the changes which are present in the which are happening or occurring in the external environment, can be detected by the receptors which are present in specialized sense organs, as we have just enumerated. And these sensations which are detected by the specialized sense organs are called as special sensations. So I am repeating that sensations which are detected by the receptors present in the special sense organs are known as special sensations. While the other type of the exteroceptors are the cutaneous exteroceptors. Now, cutaneous exteroceptors, they are widely distributed in the skin and the superficial tissues of the body, and like in the subcutaneous tissue, and they do not have special sense organs for them, and they are widely distributed. Now coming to the teleceptors. Teleceptors are basically the exteroceptors. That is, these are the receptors that detect the change in the external environment of the body. And but they are called as teleceptors because they respond to the stimuli present at the distance. So in most of the instances, when there is a change in the external environment, the stimulus, it is in contact with the skin, so that the receptors present in the skin and subcutaneous tissue are stimulated. While teleceptors are the receptors in which the receptor is present at a distance. So stimulus is present at a distance from the receptors and it is being detected by the receptors. There are two types of teleceptors present in the human body: the photoreceptors, which detect the light stimulus, and the phonoreceptors or the hearing receptors present in the organ of Corti. And organ of Corti is present in the inner ear. It's an organ which contains the phonoreceptors or the hearing receptors. So these are the examples of teleceptors, and remember that teleceptors are basically exteroceptors. Then the fourth type of receptors are the proprioceptors. Now proprioceptors are basically the interoceptors, and they respond to changes in the position and movement, so they are called as proprioceptors. And these are present in the tissues around the joints. And proprioceptors include the muscle spindles, Golgi tendon organs, Pacinian corpuscles, and roughness end organs. So these are different types of proprioceptors. Four types of proprioceptors are there, or four receptors, you can say. Four receptors act as proprioceptors and detect the changes in the position and the movement. And I am repeating that these include the muscle spindles, Golgi tendon organs, and Pacinian corpuscles and roughness and organs. So this was one way of classification. Now receptors can also be classified according to the type of the stimulus they are going to detect. So according to the type of the stimulus which is detected by the receptors, we can classify the receptors into 5 categories. Number 1 is of the mechanoreceptors. Number 2 are the thermoreceptors. Then we have the chemoreceptors, nociceptors, and electromagnetic receptors. So according to type of the stimulus, there are 5 types of receptors, or we can say that there are 5 classes of receptors: mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, chemoreceptors, nociceptors, and electromagnetic receptors. Now what are mechanoreceptors? Mechanoreceptors are the ones that respond to mechanical deformation or mechanical stimuli. And the mechanical stimuli, they cause the deformation of the receptor membrane, or they can cause deformation of the membranes of the adjacent cells. And this basically deformation of the membrane of the receptor cell or of the adjacent tissue cells, this leads to the stimulation of the receptor, and the receptors, when these are stimulated, they in turn cause generation of the nerve signals in the associated nerve fibers, and in this way the action potential is produced in the sensory nerve terminals, and these action potentials are then carried to the central nervous system. Now mechanoreceptors include the Merkel's disc, free nerve endings, hair follicle receptors, Meissner's corpuscles, Pacinian corpuscles, Roughney's end organs, Krause end bulb, muscle spindles, Golgi tendon organs, hearing receptors, baroreceptors, and the receptors present in the vestibular apparatus within the inner ear. So these are present both in the skin and the subcutaneous tissue and deep within the body. So mechanoreceptors can be present in superficially, they can be exteroceptors or they can be interoceptors. Like baroreceptors are interoreceptors, while Merkel's disc, free nerve endings, hair follicle receptors, Meissner's corpuscles, they are exteroceptors. So they can be present in the skin and the subcutaneous tissue, or they can be present in the deeper tissues and in the viscera or within the body. The other type of the receptors based on the type of the stimulus are the thermoreceptors. Now thermoreceptors respond to changes in the temperature. Change in the temperature is detected by the thermoreceptors, and there are 2 types of thermoreceptors: the cold receptors and the warmth receptors. So cold receptors are stimulated when there is decrease in the temperature, and warmth receptors are stimulated when there is increase in the temperature. Then we have the nociceptors. Now nociceptors are also called the nociceptors are also called as the pain receptors, and these are stimulated by the noxious stimuli. Noxious stimuli are the stimuli which are unpleasant or damaging to the body. So that's why they are called as nociceptors. So nociceptors are the pain receptors and respond to noxious, damaging or harmful stimuli. And these nociceptors include the free nerve endings. So free nerve endings are the nociceptors. Then we have the electromagnetic receptors. Electromagnetic receptors respond to electromagnetic rays that are the light rays, and these include the photoreceptors. Photoreceptors which are stimulated by light, and there are 2 types of photoreceptors: the rods and the cones. The rods are responsible for dim light vision, and the cones are stimulated by bright light. The 5th type of the receptors based on the type of the stimulus are the chemoreceptors. Now chemoreceptors are of different types. Like we have taste receptors present in the oral cavity, especially on the surface of the tongue, and the receptors are called as taste buds. Then we have the olfactory receptors, which detect the sense of the smell and are present in the olfactory epithelium in the upper part of the nasal cavities. Then there are receptors like chemoreceptors present in the wall of the blood vessels, which are stimulated by the partial pressure of which are stimulated by the changes in the partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood. Then the changes in the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the arterial blood stimulate the central chemoreceptors, which are present in the medulla beneath its ventral surface. Then osmolarity के लिए we have the osmoreceptors. These are the neurons present in or near the supraoptic nuclei of the hypothalamus. And for determination of the blood glucose level and amino acids and the fatty acid, we have the receptors in the hypothalamus. The receptors for the blood glucose are called as glucostat receptors. Glucostat receptors, or the cells, are present in the hypothalamus. So these are the example of different types of chemoreceptors. Now there is another way to classify the receptors according to their structure. So according to the structure or according to the histology, the receptors may be encapsulated or non-encapsulated. The encapsulated receptors have a connective tissue capsule around them, while non-encapsulated receptors do not have a connective tissue capsule. So first we are going to study the encapsulated receptors and what are different types, encapsulated receptors, and now we will briefly discuss the features and the characteristics of each type of receptors as well. So encapsulated receptors, as I just told you, have a connective tissue capsule, and the connective tissue capsule, it surrounds the core of the cells into which the axon terminate. So there is a connective tissue capsule outside. Inside the capsule there are cells which are associated with the axon terminals, and these receptors, which are encapsulated receptors, are basically the mechanoreceptors. So mechanical receptors or mechanoreceptors are encapsulated. The impulses or the action potentials which are generated by the mechanoreceptors are transmitted by A beta nerve fibers. When you studied the nerve muscle physiology, you have studied different types of nerve fibers, and I have also given you the assignment to study the different types of nerve fibers and classification of nerve fibers. So I hope you all are familiar with different types of nerve fibers. So remember that mechanoreceptors, they send their impulses via A beta nerve fibers. Now mechanoreceptors include the Meissner's corpuscles, Pacinian corpuscles, Krause and bulb, and raffinase and organ. So in encapsulated receptors, we have 4 receptors: Meissner's corpuscles, Pacinian corpuscles, Krause and bulb, and the raffinase and organs. So here are the diagrams of all these 4 receptors. These are the Pacinian corpuscles, these are Meissner's corpuscles, these are the Krause corpuscles or the Krause and bulb, and these are raffinase and organs. Now we are going to study these receptors in detail as well. Now Meissner corpuscles, as you have also seen in the diagram, and in this diagram as well, you can see these are ovoid in shape. So Meissner's corpuscles are the mechanoreceptors or the encapsulated receptors which are ovoid in shape. These are distributed superficially. They are present in the connective tissue and they are present in the papilla of the non-hairy skin. This is very important to remember, that Meissner's corpuscles are the mechanoreceptors which are capsulated and they are present in the superficial tissues, especially they are present beneath the epidermis in the dermal papilla. As you can see in this diagram, they are present in the dermal papilla and dermal papilla of the non-hairy skin. So they are most numerous on the palmar surface of the fingers. So the palmar surface of our hands is non-hairy. So they are present on the palmar surface of the fingers, they are present on the lips, they are present on the margin of the eyelids, they are present in the nipples and in the external genital organs. So this is the distribution of the Meissner's corpuscles. Meissner's corpuscles are stimulated by mechanical stimuli like light pressure. They have a well-developed tactile localization and they can also recognize the texture of the objects. The two things that you should remember about the Meissner's corpuscles when you are talking about the stimuli detected by the Meissner's corpuscle. Number one, tactile localization, and second is low frequency vibration. So they detect low frequency vibration and they have tactile localization. And Meissner's corpuscles are rapidly adapting receptors. By adaptation we mean that when there is continuous stimulation of the receptor, the response by the receptors and its associated nerve fiber is going to decrease after continuous stimulation. So they show a rapid adaptation. The second type of encapsulated receptors are the Pacinian corpuscles. Now Pacinian corpuscles, they occur at a deeper tissue level in the subcutaneous tissue of the extremities. They are also present in the pleural membrane, mesentery, peritoneum. They are present in the ligaments and they are present in the joint capsules and periosteum. When we talked about the proprioceptors, I told you that proprioceptors include the muscle spindles, Golgi tendon organs, Pacinian corpuscles and Ruffny's end organs. So they are present in the joint capsules, okay, and in the ligaments where they act as proprioceptors. While they are sensitive to deformation, and deformation is brought about by pressure and vibration. So two stimuli you must remember about the Pacinian corpuscles: pressure and vibration. And regarding vibration, high frequency vibration. So low frequency vibration is detected by the Meissner's corpuscles, while high frequency vibration it is detected by the Pacinian corpuscles. Pacinian corpuscles are also rapidly adapting. Next are the Krause and bulb. Krause and bulb resemble Meissner's corpuscles. They are similar to Meissner corpuscles when we talk about the structure of the Krause and bulb. So they look like Meissner's corpuscles. They are located in the skin of the external genital organs and they are sensitive to 2-point tactile discrimination. So they are stimulated by 2-point tactile discrimination. Now what is this 2-point tactile discrimination? 2-point tactile discrimination means that when there are two separate stimuli close to each other, two separate tactile stimuli close to each other, these are applied to the skin and they are perceived as two. So this ability to detect them as two stimuli, two separate stimuli, is called as 2-point tactile discrimination. फिर से बता रही हूँ आपको कि 2-point tactile discrimination का मतलब है कि जब दो tactile stimuli आपकी स्किन के ऊपर closely apply करें, ठीक है, with at a minimum distance and they are still be perceived as two, so that ability is called as 2-point tactile discrimination. So 2-point tactile discrimination, it stimulates the Krause and bulb, and these are again rapidly adapting receptors. Coming to the fourth type of the encapsulated receptors, the roughness and organs. Now, roughness and organs are present in the deeper layers of the skin and in the deeper tissues, such as in the periosteum, ligaments, and the joint capsule. Now, roughness and organs are slowly adapting receptors, and they respond to heavy pressure and stretching of the skin. तो जो हमने 4 types of receptors पढ़े, encapsulated receptors, out of those receptors only the roughness and organs are slow to adapt, while the other 3 that we studied, that are the Krause and bulb, Pacinian corpuscles, and Meissner's corpuscles, all 3 are rapidly adapting. Only roughness and organs are slowly adapting encapsulated receptors. So this is the diagram showing us the encapsulated receptors. So this is a Pacinian corpuscle, this is the connective tissue capsule, and you can see this is in the center, this is a nerve fiber innervating the receptor. So when there is deformation of the receptor membrane, this is going to stimulate this nerve ending present in the center of the receptor. When this nerve ending is stimulated, it generates the nerve signal, that is the action potential, which is transmitted along this nerve fiber. Now this is a Meissner's corpuscle. You can see an ovate shaped encapsulated receptor. This is the connective tissue capsule of the Meissner corpuscle, and inside the capsule there is an irregular mass of the cells. As you can see, the cells are present irregularly, and these are innervated by the nerve fiber. So these are the Meissner's corpuscles, and here you can see the Krause's corpuscles or the Krause and bulb, and you can see that these resemble the Meissner's corpuscles. The structure of the Krause corpuscles or the Krause and bulbs is similar to the Meissner's corpuscles, and you can see the connective tissue capsule, and in the center there is a nerve fiber which is innervating the receptor. And the last one are the roughness and organs or the roughness corpuscles. So roughness and organs we just studied, they are present in the deeper layers of the skin. Here you can see they are present in the dermis. This is a roughness corpuscle, and you can see here the enlarged view that they have a connective tissue capsule, and this is the nerve fiber which is innervating the receptor. Now moving on to the non-encapsulated receptors. The non-encapsulated receptors include the Merkel's discs, free nerve endings, and the hair follicle receptors or the hair end organs. So 3 non-encapsulated receptors we are going to study. Again, I am repeating: Merkel's disc, free nerve endings, and the hair follicle receptors. Now, Merkel discs are present in the hairy as well as non-hairy skin. About Meissner's corpuscles, we studied that Meissner's corpuscles are present in the non-hairy skin only, while Merkel's discs are the receptors which are non-encapsulated, and they are present in the hairy as well as non-hairy skin. Now, free nerve endings give rise to the expanded disc-like terminations. So Merkel discs are free nerve endings which have expanded disc-like terminations. Now these disc-like terminations are associated with a modified epithelial cell. This modified epithelial cell is known as the Merkel's cell. So Merkel's cell, in association with its expanded disc-like nerve termination, is known as Merkel's disc. Many times, many Merkel's cells, they may group together. So a group of the Merkel's cells, it forms a single receptor organ. When Merkel cells group together to form a single receptor organ, they are known as ergodome receptors. Now Merkel's receptors or the Merkel's disc, they respond to continuous touch. So continuous touch is going to stimulate the Merkel's disc, and they are slowly adapting. Then we have the free nerve endings. The free nerve endings are the most widely distributed receptors present in the body. They are not only present in the skin and the subcutaneous tissue, but these are also present in the viscera. So most widely distributed receptors are the free nerve endings. Now free nerve endings are responsible to detect the temperature changes, like they detect the cold and warmth, and they detect itch and tickle and the pain sensation. The signals from the free nerve endings are sent through A delta fibers and type C fibers. I am repeating that the free nerve endings send signals through A delta fibers and type C fibers. These are found in the skin, and they can be found in association with the hair follicles. So when a nerve ending, a free nerve ending is associated with the hair follicle, this is known as hair end organ. So hair end organ क्या है? It is the hair along with the basal nerve fiber. This is a free nerve ending. Is known as hair end organ. Hair end organs are stimulated by bending of hair. Like when some insect is crawling on the skin and it causes movement of the hair, it is going to stimulate the hair end organ. And these receptors that are the hair end organs are also rapidly adapting receptors. So in non-encapsulated receptors, hair end organs are rapidly adapting, while Merkel's discs are slow to adapt, and free nerve endings that detect the noxious stimuli like pain sensation and extreme of cold and warmth as well, they are very slowly adapting receptors. Now this is the diagram showing us the different types of receptors that we have just studied. So these receptors are present in the skin, in the subcutaneous tissue, and some are present some are present in the superficial layers of the skin, while others are present in the deeper layers of the skin. So this is the histology showing us the different types of receptors. So these, you can see, these are the free nerve endings. These free nerve endings ramifying in the epithelium of the skin, and these free nerve endings, they are responsible to detect the pain, heat, that is warmth, cold, itch and tickle. And free nerve endings are slowly adapting receptors. Then we have the Meissner's corpuscles. You can see here, these are the Meissner's corpuscles present in the dermal papilla, and you can see the encapsulated receptors and irregular mass of cell present in the center. So Meissner corpuscles are responsible to detect, these are mechanical receptors that detect tactile sensations, which include the touch, that is light touch, then vibration, and which type of vibration? Low frequency vibration. So, and tactile localization. So tactile sensations are detected by the Meissner's corpuscles. These are encapsulated mechanoreceptors. Then we have the Pacinian corpuscles. Again, these are encapsulated receptors, and they are present in the deeper part of the skin. Here you can see their location, that they are present in the deeper part of the skin, and they are stimulated. They are also present in the other areas, like they are present in the joint capsules and in the ligaments. So here we are talking about the skin, the location of the Pacinian corpuscles in the skin. So they are present in the deeper tissue and are stimulated by the pressure and high frequency vibration. So Pacinian corpuscles are mechanoreceptors stimulated by pressure and high frequency vibration. Next receptors are the Krause and bulb. You can see in this diagram the Krause end bulbs. Here the Krause end bulb are these. This is one receptor. This is another receptor. Now Krause end bulb are present especially in the skin of external genital organs, and they detect the 2-point tactile discrimination. And then we have the Ruffney's end organ. Here you can see these are the Ruffney's end organs. They are also present in the deeper tissue, and these are stimulated by pressure and by the stretch. Then we have the Merkel's disc. You can see the Merkel's disc. These are the nerve ending having an expanded tip. This is the expanded tip, like a termination of the nerve ending, and because of this expanded termination they are called as the discs. And when these are grouped together, they form an egodome receptors. When Merkel's disc group together to form a single receptor organ, they are known as egodome receptors. And Merkel's disc are again, these are tactile receptors and are stimulated by continuous touch. And then we have last the hair follicle receptors. So this is it. This is the hair follicle receptor. This is the hair. This is its follicle. So the nerve ending associated with the hair follicle is called as the hair follicle receptors. And these nerve endings are stimulated when there is bending of the hair. So among all these receptors, the slow adapting receptors are the Ruffney's end organs. These are the Ruffney's end organs. These are slow adapting receptors. Then are the Merkel's discs, which are slow adapting, and the pain endings, pain receptors or nociceptors. They are very slow adapting receptors, or sometimes it is said that they do not adapt at all. And you also have experienced it that pain sensation, when it is present, it persists. It does not disappear after some time until and unless the stimulus is over. While tactile sensations like the sensation of touch, it is felt initially with the high intensity, and later on sustained touch there is adaptation to it. Like when you wear a watch, and it comes in contact with your skin, initially you feel that you are wearing something, but after some time you are still wearing the watch but you do not feel it. This is because of the adaptation of the tactile receptors. So some receptors are rapidly adapting, and some are slowly adapting, and some are very slowly adapting receptors. So this is a characteristic of the receptors that we are going to study in the next lecture, inshallah, receptor adaptation. So again the same diagram showing you the different receptors and their functions, and this is how these different receptors are shown up in the Guyton. So this is a diagram from Guyton, just to make you familiar with your book diagrams. So you have the Pacinian corpuscles, these are the Meissner's corpuscles, Krause end bulb, muscle spindles, deeper receptors, Golgi tendon organs present in the deep tissues in the muscles near their tendinous insertions. Then we have Ruffney's end organs present in the deeper part of the skin. Free nerve endings you have seen ramifying in the epithelium, and you have the expanded tip endings, which are your Merkel's disc, and you have the hair end organs or the hair receptors. So this was about the receptors and their classification. We have learned the different ways of classifying the receptors. I hope you understand the lecture. Thank you for listening.